Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. Thank you to our sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics, for making this possible. Glad you've joined us. This is the only show in the Omaha area that talks about real estate, development, construction, really anything related to your favorite city becoming bigger, more vibrant, and more prosperous. Well, without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a man who is a legendary real estate deal maker and one day past his birthday, seemingly in pretty good shape given the circumstances, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Might want to turn on your microphone. There we go. Now say it again.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning, Trenton.
Good morning, Bill.
You know, at age 50, people are probably wondering, who the hell's Bill? That's our producer.
Who didn't turn on my mic?
But people are probably wondering at age 56, you probably don't stay out late partying on your birthday on Friday night.
It was actually pretty mellow, and we'll probably celebrate tonight more than we did last night.
Well, we've got some pretty good news that we're celebrating at our office, NAI NP Dodge. We announced this week our merger with First Management, Inc. So NAI NP Dodge is the commercial real estate arm of NP Dodge, which is, the Nebraska's largest full-service integrated real estate company. Been around since 1855, 170 years for the mathematically challenged. At any rate, we're always looking to grow and develop and serve our clients even better. And so we worked with Eric and Randy Wiesler and their partners from First Management. This is a commercial real estate firm that does a lot of different real estate, but they're really well known for retail space. They have 1.6 million square feet, been around for 60 years. We've joined forces. So the First Management folks have moved into our NAI NP Dodge offices and our NP Dodge Management Company offices, and we're all going to be working together for as one big real estate company, and we're going to make an even bigger dent in the Omaha market. Yeah,
very exciting. Led on our side by our fearless leader, Deb Grave, who always does a fabulous job, president of NAI NP Dodge. And Jeff helped as well as
very little.
The folks from First Management, Inc. You may know them as Management, Inc. from way back when. They trace their roots back to collaboration with John Wiebe, who not only worked on the Enola Gay, a self-taught engineer. I got to meet him a couple times. His name's on a lot of things as a philanthropist, donated a ton of land, a ton of money to children's charities as an orphan himself. And he built a couple things. He built a lot of things, but he built the Center Mall, the fabulous-looking property. It's more of an office building now. It had an anchor of Brandeis. Then he built West Roads.
May have heard of it.
And, yeah, absolutely. And he had a lot of strong relationship with a gentleman by the name of Ed Schoening, who is up there in years but still has a foothold in Omaha and built a lot of properties. So we are delighted. For 3 decades, I've worked with Randy and Eric Wiesler. And on the property side is Tom Adams, who recently retired, and then his son Nick, who does the property management. So we're excited to have them in the fold and collaborate with them. And so we're excited to see NP Dodge grow by about 1.6 million square feet of retail and office property management as well.
Well, we don't have a we don't have a Grow Omaha Eats restaurant column. It's an off week. We do those every 2 weeks. Those are written by Chris Corey and sponsored by Allmax Office Equipment. But fear not, you can read any of our reviews by going to growomaha.com and clicking on reviews in the navigation bar. But let's get into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. If you want to stop by the office, 114th and Davenport, just south of Dodge. They are in the business of helping you get your piece of the American dream, and we are now officially in late winter. In fact, March 1st is the first day of meteorological spring, even if it's not official seasonal spring, meteorological spring, which means house hunting season. Before you go out there, you want to talk with Holly Schneidewind or one of her team members and figure out what the best lending solution is for you. Remember, they're not a bank. They shop the banks and find the best lending solution for you. EagleMortgageCompany.com. Well, Trenton, first up on the docket, Bellevue Bay Water Park, which we are eagerly anticipating, is going to have its groundbreaking March 20th. Not that far away. This is going to be one of the 4 largest water parks in the United States of America. 100,000 square foot building with a retractable roof plus a major outdoor area. Will open in 2027. $60 million project will be located at the interchange of Kennedy Freeway, aka U.S. Highway 75, and U.S. Highway 34 south side of Bellevue.
It is a very exciting project. Kudos to the city of Bellevue of how they've put this together. It's a very large project, and I hope it's incredibly successful. This is one of the Good Life Transformation Act projects that the state legislature put together, and I hope it does well. It's going to be out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people, but I'm sure that social media and advertising and word of mouth is going to be paramount to the success of this.
Well, and location on that one is not critically important because it's going to be a 300 to 500 mile draw. And so it'll be one of those places that people seek out. And of course, it's going to be located along a freeway. Also, as the next several weeks and months go by, we're going to have more and more details about what's going to be built around that project because it's going to be part of a massive complex, as Trenton said, will be part of the Good Life District program. Peterbilt of Omaha is building a truck sales and service center in Gretna. It's right along Interstate 80. The address is 11502 Wickersham Boulevard. But if you can picture southwest of the Interstate 80 Highway 370 interchange, there's a Walmart Supercenter. Just beyond that Walmart Supercenter, steel has gone vertical on that building. And also as part of that project, a new frontage road has been completed, which links that area to the west all the way over to 168th Street.
That project has been in the works probably for 7 years.
January passenger traffic at Omaha's Eppley Airfield was up 1.5 percentage points in January 2024. So that's an encouraging sign, especially since 2024 overall was the number one record-breaking year for passenger traffic in Eppley history. In January, 364,538 people went through the terminal. And while we're talking about the airport, I thought it was a perfect opportunity for a Stump the Trenton moment.
Yes.
Trenton, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's see if you are stumped or if you are not stumped. What airline has the greatest market share when it comes to number of passengers going through Eppley Airfield? What airline has the greatest market share in Omaha?
I am going to go with Southwest.
Ding, 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 ding. We failed to stump the Trenton. He got it right. But I don't give up very easily.
I didn't know, but that was my guess. I figured that because of the direct connections and people seem to get on there.
Actually, they have it by a large margin. They have 35.3% market share in Omaha. Southwest Airlines really dominates.
You think with the money they could put some USB chargers on their chairs?
There you have it. But I don't give up easily. I'm going to stump you. Trenton, what is the number 2 airline for market share in Omaha?
That's easy. That's American.
Damn, you got it right. Okay, I'm going to get you on this one. Number 3?
Number 3, you want me to say United. It's probably United. So I'll say United.
Oh gosh, you're right. When you were saying that you want me to say United, it's probably United, but I'm going to go ahead and say Delta. I was ready to go, but unfortunately you said United and you got it right. You're good. You cannot stump the Trenton, so don't even try, folks. I probably won't do a stump the Trenton for several months now because I'm rather deflated because he got all 3 of those questions right.
I was coming in cold too.
Yeah, it truly was. It truly was a cold stumping that failed to stump.
I'm cold.
The long-awaited pickleball courts planned for Lewis and Clark Landing on the riverfront are still in the permitting process with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Bid packages have been issued and construction is expected to begin this spring. This was the last lingering part of the overall riverfront project. It is, if you can picture the Kiewit Luminarium, there's a little area just to the northwest of it where there's still construction fence and weeds. That's supposed to be the pickleball court. For some reason, it was not in the first phase of the project. And apparently, if anything is done in that area, proximity to the river, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has to give it its government bureaucratic stamp or whatever is involved. But we should be getting those pickleball courts. Thank God, Trenton, you can get out there and play a little pickleball soon.
You know, we are due for a major overhaul of the city's master plan. It's been like 30 years. And I was talking to my friend Ryan Blumpkin, who said he's been playing pickleball for like 25 years. So he's like one of the OGs of pickleball in Omaha.
Yeah.
And with this new master plan, I wonder if they're going to put things in for office and retail, industrial, that if you have so many employees or so much square footage, you have to have pickleball, either indoor or outdoor. And I think we're getting pickleballed out, but there's a big one going to be opening up, Omaha Pickleball or something, going to be opening up pretty soon, Southwest.
Okay, that's a lot to follow there, but anytime you have a conversation with pickleball, master planning, and Ryan Blumpkin all in one paragraph, you consider it a pretty good day. Recent Census Bureau data shows that brain drain in Nebraska is trending down. That's a good thing. In fact, get a load of this. Omaha employment since the pandemic has added a net of 67,000 jobs.
Excellent.
That's not bad. Okay, so
or we're settling for smaller brains.
Construction is just getting started on a club car wash at 183rd and Maple. That is immediately west of an existing Burger Detour restaurant. Club Car Wash, based in Columbia, Missouri, has 9 existing Omaha area locations. We bring this up for one reason and one reason only. We have probably been asked 29 times in the last month, what's going in next to Burger Detour on Maple? Now you know, Club Car Wash.
They've been pretty prolific. There's been some shakeout of some of the car wash brands. I would say my favorite is Tommy's Express, and I've done a bunch of those, and I use them, and I think they do a good job. But I would say Club Car Wash is a survivor. They're on a hold with Tidal Wave Car Wash. Rocket seems to plan a lot, but they don't build a lot. And a few, International Car Wash Group, which is one of the biggest, has tried to come into the market, and they've pulled out. I think they've sold some of theirs to Club Wash. And so, like a lot of cities, I think Mexican restaurants are next, because we have announcements on our news feed about more and more Mexican restaurants coming to Omaha.
And car washes. Okay, so we finish this morning's news segment with a bit of infrastructure news. Holy cow, you can tear down a bridge pretty fast. Last night at 9 o'clock p.m., the Harney Street Bridge over Interstate 480 was scheduled to be torn down. They were going to start at 9 p.m. last night. They did. At 8 o'clock a.m. this morning, the bridge was mostly gone. In fact, if you want to see what it looks like, just go to growomaha.com. It's right there on our top of our homepage. But if you click on that picture, there's a little bit of detail about it. I actually went down there this morning, and I'll be honest, I took the photograph. I'm no Brad Williams, but forgive me when you see the photograph. It's not bad, but I took this thing. I was standing on the Farnham Street Bridge, sticking my cell phone camera through the little spaces of the cyclone fence to try and get this. Under the circumstances, while no Brad Williams photo, I think I did a pretty good job.
I think it looks really well, and that it smells like a fresh picture, too.
And anyway, you'll be fascinated when you see this. 480 is being diverted for the weekend. It's supposed to be open for traffic by Monday morning rush hour. I think it will be. I mean, got to give Hawkins construction credit for this. They have brought this bridge down pretty fast. Now, the bridge is then going to be reconstructed. The new Harney Street Bridge will take a lot longer to build than the old one came down. It'll be late this year. And then next year, we do the same thing to the Farnham Street Bridge.
Did I tell you about the 4,000 square foot building at 2909 Farnham Street or Harney Street that I have for sale?
Which time?
2909 Harney Street, right next to the church.
You said, did you tell me? I said, which time are you telling me?
I'm telling you twice right now.
Go ahead. Say it fast.
Many a times. I already did. Thank you.
Okay, so Trenton has a listing really close to the soon-to-be reconstructed Harney Street Bridge, and you can get a hold of him by sending a note to trenton.maggot@npdodge.com.
Yeah, or just Google Trenton, Omaha, and I will be there.
Trenton, I've always said you're one of those people that's like Cher. You just use your first name and everyone knows who I'm talking about.
In a good way.
And that's your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, speaking of Eagle Mortgage, we've got the head of that company with us right now this morning. Her name is Holly Schneidewind, good friend of ours, good friend of Girl Omaha's. And because we are going into the beginning of meteorological spring on March 1st, we're going to talk about an update with home financing, because we know a lot of you are thinking about moving. That's the spring thing to do in America. So stay with us. You're going to love this conversation with Holly. That, of course, and many other things yet to come in the hour. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics. And we'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot here in the KFAB studio. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics. They are the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. If you count all of the Cheer Athletics locations currently in operation and coming soon, it's about 15 of them. One of them's even in the United Kingdom, which is pretty cool. They started in Dallas. Omaha is very fortunate to have one of them. These things are the Cadillac of the all-star cheer business. And when I say all-star cheer, it's big deal. I mean, it's going to be an Olympic sport in 2028, and generally considered one of the highest levels, if not the highest level, of cheering as competition. Great place for your kids or grandkiddos to get involved and to really learn a lot of life lessons. You can find out more at CA is in Cheer Athletics, caomaha.com. Well, we have Holly Schneidewind with us. She is the owner of Eagle Mortgage. As sometimes they say on KFAB, Eagle Mortgage. You ever notice on the morning show, Holly, they'll say sometimes Eagle Mortgage?
No, but is that Scott that does that?
Scott, yeah. Sometimes they'll say Eagle Mortgage, or maybe.
Well,
Jim
you can
Rose
call
does
us
that
whatever
a lot.
you want. Just call us.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
So you guys have been around for 30 some years now, doing the mortgage business.
I know people ask me, and I'm like, hold on, I got to count on my hands, fingers, toes.
You've run out. You don't have enough digits.
I don't know. So I think I don't know. You guys do the math. So Eagle started in 1991, and I joined in 1993.
Okay, so you've been around for 32 years and the company for 35 years.
Yep, we're going on.
And as everyone says, you started when you were 12, right?
Yes. That's where all these wrinkles come from.
You don't have any wrinkles. Holly looks great. But Holly, let's talk a little bit about the market. You know, we are getting so close to spring, and there's just something about, when the weather turns. I mean, tomorrow it's going to be real nice. All next week's going to be real nice. There are probably maybe a lot of people looking at houses. What do they do to get started, and what do you need them to do if they're going to get a loan through Eagle Mortgage?
So first of all, everybody needs to get out of their heads that rates might come down. But you know what? I've got some people that are like, we're waiting on the sidelines. We're waiting for prices to come down or rates to come down. Well, let's not count on it. So yes, what do we need to do to get started? Let's get an application. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out, where do you want to be? What do the numbers do? Have you budgeted? What do you want to spend? And then let's figure out, what does that back into for price or cash to close? And we just have a conversation.
And even if they think they're going to wait, or the rates are going to come down, or prices are going to come down, or the inventory is going to go up, by going to Eagle Mortgage, I assume you can kind of put them on the right track. You're going to be here today, tomorrow, 10 years, 20 years. So why not figure out what they can spend, and if they want more, figure out what they have to get between now and then.
Exactly.
I could work at Eagle Mortgage.
You could.
It's a hard test.
But you passed. And Holly, I guess I'm going to latch onto something you said there just a moment ago. You said some people sit on the sidelines waiting for prices to come down. I could see how people would hope that maybe interest rates might come down a bit, but prices of houses generally
not really. I mean, we're not post-COVID, and I hate to even say that word anymore.
Yeah.
We're not past pandemic, where prices and people were offering way above and purchase price. They were offering appraisal gaps and paying cash, and it's not happening that way right now. But our inventory, which that's my friends at, say, NP Dodge or any of the realtors can tell you, is the inventory is not crazy up there. So prices aren't coming down. I think they're selling for pretty close to list price now.
So it's not as competitive as it
No,
had
it's not
been.
as competitive. You're still seeing some seller credits being paid right now. So you don't normally see that sometimes in the really competitive market.
I pulled up we'll call it a meme, but it's the back of Michael Steinberg's company card. Michael Steinberg is a very successful developer, built a lot of Walmart properties and things like that, did a lot in Omaha as well, from Omaha. And it's an old man with a cane, and it says, "The young man who waited for the price of real estate to come down."
No.
So
And he's no longer young.
he's no longer young. And I get it when
Buy now.
you hear about in Miami and the waterfront properties where the billionaires are knocking out the 100 millionaires. That's not Omaha. But I can understand when people are concerned when real estate's at an all-time high, and the rates have been pretty steady for the last couple of years, and even though if they're around 7%, we'll get into that, it's still affordable. I remember my first house, 94, was 8.5%. So, and people that are older than
So
me
it's all a matter of perspective, right?
22%, right? But at the same time, should people be concerned if they're buying at the top of the market? What's the odds that it's going to go up versus go down? And I know you don't have the crystal ball.
Rates or property values?
Property values, let's say.
Oh, property values are not going down. In the last, 50 years, we've seen, 7 years that have actually been zero or negative in 50 years of history of real estate. So chances are, your property value is not going to go down. So I had somebody in my office yesterday, and we were kind of doing the pre-qual, the pre-approval. So we went through, and he's like, well, he wants to pay him a certain amount. Well, I tried to explain to him, you might not get your payment exactly where you want to go. You still qualify, but just remember, when you make your payment, part of that's principal pay down. You are paying towards your wealth, your assets. The other piece would be you get the appreciation in the property versus renting. Your landlord, you're paying your landlord to own that property and get that appreciation. So
We're talking with Holly Schneidewind, owner of Eagle Mortgage, and Holly, when the interest rates did go up, we saw a big drop in refinancing. Are we seeing any refinance work coming back?
yes, so we're helping people. Maybe it's not exactly a circumstance where we're dropping interest rates, but we are dropping monthly cash flow outgoing. So we are debt consolidating. It's just this time of year where people have now lived off maybe some credit cards. They're having a little
19% or more.
Yeah, that's not good. So you know what? We're trying to help them manage their debt. That's what we do. You got a property, the asset managers manage the assets. We manage the liability. And that way it can help build those assets.
We have a lot of boomer and silent generation listeners, and we hear a lot about reverse mortgages. What's going on with reverse mortgages? How common are those? And what do people usually consider before they decide to go, yep, I'm going to have a reverse mortgage?
We'll take those calls from the silent generation.
From the silent generation? So, a reverse mortgage is, I'm getting more and more questions asked about it because we've got it 62 and older. It doesn't fit everybody, but it's worth a conversation. They're not the devil. I don't know how else to say it. People hear all kinds of bad things about reverse mortgage, and it's not as bad as what people say it is. They don't want your house. They're not going to take your house. It's still a mortgage. It's just a different type of mortgage. So we're utilizing their asset to help them either get by, take asset. Yeah.
Has that increased over the years? Has reverse mortgages increased? Has Tom Selleck done his job?
Don't go to Tom Selleck. Have they increased? Yes, I've got a couple in the works right now. So, yep.
Okay. Holly, you want to stick around a little bit? After the break, we might ask you another question or two.
All right.
All right, we're gonna keep Holly Schneidewind here in the studio and maybe ask her a question or two when we come back from the news. So stay with us. We also have our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week coming up. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service. We're brought to you by Cheer Athletics along with Dingman's Collision Center, 4 metropolitan area locations: Northwest O near 120th and Maple. I have another one at 144th and Industrial Road. Downtown Papillion, Midtown along Saddle Creek Road. They all do a fantastic job. And when you go there, tell them that Grow Omaha sent you. I don't know why you should tell them that, but I've always wanted to say that. Tell them that Grow Omaha sent you. At any rate, we thank Dingman's for being part of the show. It's time for your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies. This is when we talk about projects and developments and news and activity happening in or around one of Noddle Companies' many local projects. And when I say many, I'm not kidding. They do a lot. Probably the most prolific developer around when you consider all the projects they've done over all the years, and not just in Omaha, but in other parts of the country as well. They are under the steady leadership of Jay Noddle, who is also a community servant. Working as the head of the streetcar committee right now, and so many other things. But we're proud to have Noddle Companies as part of the project, and you can learn more about them by going to noddlecompanies.com. Well, what are we going to talk about today for the Noddle Companies project? 2 things. They both involve Exarban Village. The first one is that the 20th annual Omaha Film Festival is going to be taking place on March 11th through 16th at ACX Cinemas in Exarban Village. This is going to be really cool. Information is available about it on the Exarban Village Facebook page. I guess you could probably learn about it by going to ACX Cinemas as well. Also, near Exarban Village, more of a growth and development topic, we've really seen a ton of progress on the apartments under construction at 71st and Mercy. So just west-southwest of Exarban Village proper, if you will. This is a heck of a project. It's a 4-story building, 200 units. One of the things that's quite unique about it is they built the project in such a way that it has its own parking garage. The parking garage is already done. Right now they're framing out the apartments. But we've had a lot of people say, what are they building, just east of 72nd and Mercy? That's what it is, 4-story, 200-unit apartment building. And it's, if you want to picture where this is, just north of the Think Healthcare office building.
They tore down another office building for it.
Yeah, that was an old. I think 1960s era building, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, built by John Madden, not the one that most people know, but a prolific developer that was from Omaha, then moved to Denver. And actually, Jay Noddle used to work for him in Denver and was very successful.
It was a building that it was very nondescript, though. It didn't have a ton of windows, and
the area was built. Yeah,
I remember at one time the Social Security office was in there, and when we got married, we went in there to change my wife's name. We wanted to do that real fast before she changed her mind.
What was she before Stephanie?
Winter.
Oh.
Stephanie Winter. You knew that.
I thought you were talking about her first name.
Okay.
Was there another apartment complex that's going to be built to share this parking garage?
Not that I know of.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay, maybe. Well, we have Holly Schneidewind with us. She is head of Eagle Mortgage, one of our longtime sponsors. And Holly, we wanted to ask you just a couple more questions before we let you start your weekend. The first one is home improvement loans. There are always that group of people out there who are thinking they want to move, and then at some point they say, you know what, let's just fix up the place we have. So what's the latest or the latest trends, if you will, with home improvement loans?
So I think people are staying in their homes, knowing that we have 3% interest rate, 3.5% interest rate. So yeah, people are calling asking. We can do several different things. You can do a home equity line of credit, basically pulling equity out if you need it to do some work. You can do a home equity loan. Maybe you could just do the whole loan in what we call a renovation loan. So we do have those available too. And actually, you talk about people already in their houses. That doesn't mean we can't also use those for people purchasing a house that needs some work. So we see a lot of houses stuck, in the 1970s that people are buying. I just saw one that still had the orange carpet. No, this one had orange
on
carpet.
the walls. Now, you just said 3.5%. People's heads, their ears are perking up.
Right.
What do you mean by 3.5% versus
interest rate? And we do not currently. Yeah. So let's just say I currently have a 3.5% interest rate on my home. Currently. So that's what's causing the shortage of houses on the market, right? Because why do you want to move or people move when current rates, which you mentioned, what are rates doing now? I hear that all the time. What are the interest rates? That just depends. There's so many factors that go into an interest rate. But why would somebody want to move when rates could be around 7% now? So why would you double your rate? But I'll tell you what, circumstances happen, families grow, families downsize. Circumstances require people to either refinance, purchase, move around. And guess what? You still have the house. Marry the house, date the rate.
Marry the house and date the rate.
So eventually when rates do come down, which we're anticipating they are going to, just a matter of when.
Okay, let's say that somebody has a 3% or 4%, whatever their rate is. They want to keep that rate, but they want to put 20% of their home value in remodeling. Can you do a second?
Yes.
At a 7% or whatever it is, maybe it's a little higher.
Whatever the current rate is.
And they can keep their first rate.
Correct.
And so it's a blended rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's one of the options.
I think you're going to get a lot of business this week. Eagle Mortgage, tell them Trenton sent you.
Yeah.
And with that, Holly, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. But thanks for joining us this morning, and we also appreciate your sponsorship of Grow Omaha.
Yeah. So thanks for having me on. It was great. And now I get to start my weekend.
Holly Schneidewind,
hell of a start.
Owner of Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Going to take our final break in the hour. And when we come back, we'll have our Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round. So many things to talk about in a very short period of time. Stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service. It is time for your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things very fast. And it is brought to you by Perkins Kreitzer Construction. They are a full-service general contractor that has a great deal of experience building all types of buildings. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about a from-the-ground-up office building, church, retail building, or anything else, or if you're talking about building out and renovating spaces inside an existing building. They do all of that. They stretch from Grand Island and North Platte all the way east into Iowa up to Sioux City. And, of course, they're big time here in the metro area. Dave Kreitzer is the owner. We know Dave very well and can personally vouch for his talent, his work ethic, and his integrity. So Perkins Kreitzer Construction, use them if you are looking for a project contractor, and find them at p-cconstruction.com. Well, a few things that we have to go over today, so many of them. Prairie Flower Casino recently unveiled its expansion. They went from 7,000 square feet to 70,000 square feet.
Was that just for the smoking section?
It may have been. Maza Middle Eastern Cuisine plans to open early this summer in the former Sofra Kitchen space, and that is at 220 South 31st Avenue in Midtown Crossing. Típico Helado, a Mexican ice cream concept, plans to open its fourth location later this year. It's going to be in the Old Market, Trenton. This is in the former Niche space. And just to the west of that, we announced a couple months ago that a Korean restaurant is going in. So a nice little bit of rejuvenation for that part of the Old Market.
Excellent.
The Runza restaurant at 965 South 72nd Street has reopened for business. They tore it down late last summer. It had been, for you old-timers, a Broncos. In fact, I'm so old, I remember when that Broncos was built. At any rate, it became a Runza restaurant many, many years ago. They decided they no longer wanted a Runza that looked like a Broncos.
Or tasted like one.
And so they built a new one. Looks real nice, and it is open and up and operating. Everbowl, an acai and superfood restaurant, is holding a grand opening March 6th. This is at 2913 South 168th Street. So that's just a little bit southeast of 168th and Center. Local owners Jill and TJ Isaacs plan to give away 300 Everbowls between 5 and 8 p.m. on March 6th. This is a California-based chain with about 100 locations nationwide.
And you can wash it down with either crumble cookies to your north or nothing but cake to your south. 2
more locations of Everbowl are planned for the metro area, but those locations have not been announced. Red Lotus Thai Express had a ribbon cutting this week for its new restaurant in Papillion. Sugared Ledge Bakery near, it's a little bit northwest of 204th and Dodge. They have temporarily closed in order to refresh the space and expand the menu. They expect to be reopened sometime in March. Then we have Bounce Culture Fitness Studio, plans to open in early March, 97th and Giles Road in La Vista. This is a locally owned boutique fitness studio that will offer mini trampoline workouts, which sound pretty cool. Hard, but sound pretty cool. Got some closings. Poke Boba House in the Old Market, closing February 28th. The Hardee's Restaurant at 811 North 205th Street. That's near 204th and West Dodge Road. It closed. Going to be replaced with an Abelardo's restaurant. And just up the street from that, a little bit to the west, Omaha Bakery has closed. Really close to the Mark and some of that stuff up there. I think that's Cumberland Drive that's on. And then speaking of closures, better watch out because more than 30 Omaha businesses face potential closure because of unpaid food and drink permits. That according to Douglas County Health Department's February 19th announcement. Hopefully, since then, that's 3 days ago, some of these businesses have taken care of that little demographic necessity. And let's see, what else do we have here? La Poblanita, a South Omaha Mexican restaurant that abruptly closed last August, is doing to-go orders today from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. from a private kitchen. The menu includes pozole blanco, rojo with 2 chicken. I don't think we need to get into these details, but if you want to do it, you can go to their Facebook page and learn all about it. And that was, like I said, in South Omaha. And then speaking of South Omaha, we have a really cool complex going in at 36th and just near the it's Z Street, which is going to be a cool commercial use for that. So, out of time. That's it for this week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Perkins Kreitzer Construction, Cheer Athletics, and Dingman's Collision Center. We'll chat with you next week at 9 right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.